Welcome to the deep dive. We're diving into some really interesting material you sent over about personal branding and investing a bit later in life. We've got like excerpts from this YouTube interview with a successful real estate investor, Michael Zuber, and some blog topic ideas too, about business and investing, personal growth, all that stuff that's super relevant if you're over 40 and kind of like looking to make some changes.
Yeah, this sounds like you're thinking about, well, creating more impact and, building some financial security for yourself down the road. So let's see what these sources say about all that.
The super guy, he really caught my eye. What's wild is he didn't actually start building his brand until he was 45.
That's what I think is so inspiring about his story, right? It's like it proves that it's really never too late to kind of shift gears and create something that really matters.
And he's not just making a change, he's totally crushing it. Like, he's making $250,000 a year now from his brand, which is amazing. But here's the thing, he made over 1,000 YouTube videos before he even earned a cent from it.
Wow, that's some serious persistence right there. It kind of throws that whole overnight success myth out the window. We hear about people, going viral or getting rich quick, but Zuber's story shows us that real success takes consistent effort, even when you're not seeing results right away. It's funny, this ties in perfectly with one of those blog topic ideas, the power of planning, which talks about how crucial that consistent action is for reaching any goal, really.
Makes you think about all those times you maybe gave up on something too early, right? Like 1,000 videos, that's some serious dedication.
Yeah.
But what I thought was really interesting was that he didn't just focus on like churning out content, he also made it a point to build a community.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
He's always bringing on other real estate millionaires, doing these interviews, sharing their stories and insights. He's really cultivated this sense of connection with his audience. It's actually really smart because a strong community like that doesn't just provide support, it can also become a source for new content ideas and collaborations.
And that actually connects to one of the blog topics we were looking at about finding and connecting with other people who are passionate about the same things as you. I mean, just imagine what could happen if you found even say two or three other people who are really into your niche.
Oh yeah, that could be huge, especially when you're thinking about like building a business or a brand later in life. And Zuber's story is a perfect example of how that kind of community can really lead to tangible success.
He's turned his YouTube channel into this whole empire. He's got a best-selling book, another one in the works, courses, affiliate links, even a whole school community. He's even signed an $80,000 brand deal.
It's amazing how he's leveraged his content into all these different streams of income. He didn't just stay on YouTube. He branched out into books, courses, and like you said, that brand deal, which shows a real knack for turning his expertise into multiple ways to, make money.
And it all started with him consistently giving value to his audience and building that community around what he's truly passionate about. That's a pretty powerful lesson for anyone, I think, no matter how old you are, who's thinking about creating something of their own.
Totally agree. And speaking of value, Zuber actually had some interesting thoughts about investing that I think are relevant to, well, to what you're thinking about doing. He really emphasized the importance of research, like really understanding what you're investing in and then sticking to your strategy even when things get tough.
That discipline thing seems to be a real recurring theme with him, doesn't it? It goes back to that idea of consistent action and not giving up when things get, challenging. He also talked about something called a buy box, which I have to admit I'm not completely familiar with.
Yeah, a buy box is essentially like a set of criteria you use when you're looking at an investment. It helps you avoid making those impulsive decisions based on, emotions or hype. For example, if you're investing in real estate, your buy box might include things like location, property type, price range, potential rental income, stuff like that.
So it's like having a clear set of rules to guide your investment decisions and stop you from getting caught up in those speculative bubbles or following the crowd. He also mentioned something about dry powder, another term I wasn't totally sure about.
Right, dry powder is basically the cash you have available to invest. Zuber suggests having some of that dry powder ready so you can jump on opportunities when the market dips, which can be especially important, during a recession.
He usually seemed pretty optimistic about, well, about the potential of recessions to build wealth, which is interesting. Some most people see them as something to be, scared of.
It's definitely a contrarian viewpoint, but it kind of makes sense if you think about it. Recessions often create opportunities to buy assets at lower prices. So if you've got the resources and, the stomach for a little bit of risk, those downturns can actually be a chance to set yourself up for future growth. It lines up with that that value investing approach that some of those blog articles were talking about.
It's definitely making me think about economic downturns a little differently. Like maybe instead of fearing them, we should be preparing for them and, seeing them as potential launching pads for future success.
Exactly. And it's not just about financial prep. It's about having the mental toughness to stay disciplined and stick to your plan even when, everyone else is panicking.
Sounds like Zuber's approach to investing is all about being strategic, patient, and not getting caught up in the hype. Which, now that I think about it, is pretty similar to his approach to building his personal brand, right?
Yeah, you're right. There are definitely some parallels there. It's all about playing the long game, focusing on delivering value and building something that's sustainable instead of chasing those quick wins.
It's funny when you think about it, Zuber's approach to investing is kind of like building a house. You need that solid foundation, your buy box, and the right materials, all your research and due diligence. And you got to have the patience to let it all come together over time. You wouldn't just throw up some random structure and expect it to last, right?
That's a really good analogy. And just like building a house, investing takes time, it takes effort. There will be some bumps in the road, market changes, unexpected costs, things like that. But if you've got a solid plan and you're disciplined enough to stick with it, you're much more likely to get through those rough patches and come out even stronger.
He also talked about something that I thought was really interesting, the idea of turning your house into a rental property. Since we're talking about upgrading, that's something I've been thinking about a lot more lately.
It's a really smart strategy, especially if you're trying to build some long-term wealth with real estate.
Yeah.
You're basically tapping into that equity you've already built in your home and then using it to get some passive income. But it's not a decision to take lightly, right? It's not just about, getting a bigger place. You have to weigh that desire for more space with the financial move of creating that extra income.
Yeah, definitely something to think about. It's interesting how Zuber's advice kind of links up with those blog topics we have about turning life experiences into, assets. He talks a lot about using his own experience, the good and the bad, to help other people. And it seems like that's a big part of why he's so appealing.
Oh, absolutely. Like, he's not afraid to share his struggles,
Yeah.
the divorce, battling those suicidal thoughts after leaving his job. He talks about it all openly, and I think that makes him so relatable to so many people because it reminds us that even the people who seem like they've got it all together have had their own share of challenges.
It's a good reminder that, well, everyone has their own story, right? And even those difficult parts, they can be valuable. And he actually says part of his success comes from the lessons he learned going through those tough times. Like those
Wow.
challenges made him step back and figure out what was really important.
And it seems like what really matters to him is helping other people become financially free through real estate. And he's not just selling some pipe dream, he's offering real, practical advice based on what he's been through. You can just tell how genuine he is in everything he does.
There really is something inspiring about hearing someone talk about their work with that level of passion. It's not all about money for him. He wants to build something bigger than himself, something that makes a real difference. It made me think about that blog topic, finding your tribe, and how important it is to have those people who get you, who support your journey.
That's where the online world can be so amazing, isn't it? You have access to this whole network of people from all over who share your interests. It doesn't matter if it's something really specific or if you're starting later in life, you can still find your people. It's about finding those people who, well, they get you, they challenge you, and they push you to keep growing.
And Zuber seems to have really figured out that whole online community thing, right? He's not afraid to talk about things that could be controversial, but he always makes sure it's an open conversation and everything is respectful. It's really nice to see someone fostering that kind of environment online, especially these days when everything feels so divided.
Yeah, that's a skill we could all get better at,
Mhm.
both online and in person. Being curious, trying to understand different perspectives, even if you don't agree. It's about building bridges, not walls.
You know what that reminds me of? That other blog topic we had, the one about creating courses and memberships. It seems like that could be an awesome way to build a community around, your blog or whatever and make money while sharing what you know.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That whole model is getting more and more popular, and it makes sense. It lets you connect with people on a much deeper level. You can give them a lot more support and guidance than you could with just a blog. Plus, it gives you a way to get that recurring income, which is huge for anyone who's building a business, especially if you're starting later in life.
And the best part is how flexible it is. You could do live coaching calls, Q&As, have some exclusive content, or even just set up a place where members can talk to each other. The whole point is to create something that's really valuable and keeps people engaged and coming back for more.
And that brings us back to building a brand that feels genuine and connects with people on a real level. You know, one thing that's so great about Zuber is that he's just so genuinely enthusiastic about what he does. He loves helping people reach financial freedom, and that passion just comes through. It makes you want to learn from him and be part of his community.
Oh, yeah, you can just feel it. It's not fake or anything, it's totally real. And I think that's a super important part of any successful brand, no matter what it is. People can tell when someone's being phony, but when you're really passionate about something, it just shines through and draws other people in.
Authenticity, it's magnetic.
Wow.
It builds trust, which is the foundation of any online business or community. It's about being yourself, telling your story, letting your personality show in your work. Because at the end of the day, people connect with other people, not with some fake persona.
So true. It's about being relatable and approachable. You don't have to try to be someone you're not. Speaking of relatable, I love how Zuber makes investing sound fun and easy to understand. He doesn't talk down to people or use a bunch of technical terms. He explains things in a way that makes sense, even if you're totally new to it all.
Yeah, that's a real talent, especially when you're talking about something that can feel so complicated and kind of scary like finance. He's not just throwing information out there. He's telling stories, making connections, breaking down these complex ideas into smaller pieces that are easier to understand. It reminds you that learning doesn't have to be boring. It can be engaging and even fun if it's done right.
He's like that friend who's super into something and they get you excited about it too just by talking about it.
Yeah.
He's got that energy that makes you want to learn more.
And that's a big lesson in itself, right? No matter what you love doing, if you can find a way to share it that's real and engaging and connects with people, you can build a community around it. And then you can create something truly amazing. He also talks about the importance of taking action, even if you don't feel totally ready.
He's all about just going for it and
Yeah.
figuring things out as you go, right? That whole ready, fire, aim thing. It can be kind of scary for some people, especially those who like to have a perfect plan before doing anything. But there's something to be said about taking that first step and letting the momentum build.
He really believes in that, the power of momentum. Even small steps can get big results over time. He wants his audience to, try out different strategies, learn from their mistakes, and just keep moving forward. Like he always says, don't let fear hold you back. Just start somewhere.
Makes me think about all the things I've put off because I didn't think I was ready yet. Maybe that's not the right way to think about it. Maybe it's more about just doing it, taking that leap, and trusting that you'll figure it out as you go.
It's about being open to learning new things, accepting that you won't have all the answers right away. And Zuber's story is the perfect example of that, right? He didn't start out as this real estate guru. He learned by doing it, making mistakes, and always looking for new information and ways to do things.
It's so cool to see someone who's achieved so much still emphasize the importance of always learning and growing. It reminds you that no matter how old you are or how successful you get, you never stop learning. You know, another thing that struck me about Zuber was how focused he is on building a business that will last even after he's gone.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing to think about, isn't it? He wants to create something that keeps making a positive impact on the world even when he's not here anymore. He wants his work to be his legacy, something that will keep helping people for generations.
So it's about more than just building a business. It's about building something that truly makes a difference. And that's a goal worth going after, no matter what you do or what stage of life you're in.
Exactly. It's about figuring out how your passions and your skills can meet the needs of the world, and then creating something that brings you joy and purpose while contributing to something much bigger than yourself.
I love that he sends out those golden tickets and black cards to people who get their first real estate deal because of his advice. It's such a cool way to celebrate their success and show how much he cares.
And it's not just symbolic. He keeps track of how many he's sent out, and it's over 2,600 at this point. That's how many lives he's touched.
It really shows how a personal brand can be so much more than just promoting yourself. It can be a way to help people, to give them power, and make positive change.
It's about connecting with people, supporting each other, and leaving the world a little bit better.
It's really inspiring, and it makes you think, what kind of impact do I want to make? It's amazing how Zuber's built this whole world around his brand.
Hmm.
The YouTube channel, the books, those courses, even that whole school community. It's like a one-stop shop for anything real estate, especially if you want to connect with people who get it.
Yeah, it really shows how dedicated he is to giving people something valuable It's really something special. And speaking of, well, valuable stuff, he had some interesting thoughts about the economy right now that you might find pretty relevant.
Oh, yeah, he didn't exactly sugarcoat anything, did he? Saying it could be a rough year. With those higher interest rates and maybe even a recession, plus more people out of work, that definitely caught my attention.
It's definitely something to think about. He even compared it to like the recessions back in 81 and 82, which were, pretty serious.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that comparison definitely made me pay attention. But here's the thing, he didn't sound all doom and gloom about it. He actually said it could be a great year for people who are ready.
Exactly. He talked about, remember, having that dry powder ready to invest when prices drop. It's like that classic value investing idea, be ready to buy when everyone else is freaking out.
It's like he's saying, don't freak out, just be ready. And he also said that historically, most people make their money during recessions, not when things are booming.
It's kind of the opposite of what you'd think, right?
Yeah.
But it makes sense. When the market's down, that's when you get the good deals. Of course, you got to be okay with a little risk and you got to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, it definitely goes against that whole buy low, sell high thing, doesn't it? Zuber seems to be more about buy smart and hold on. And look at him, he really shows it works. He actually made most of his money in real estate after, get this, losing a bunch in the stock market during that dot-com bubble.
It shows that, sometimes messing up can teach you the best lessons. Sometimes those big disappointments can lead to your biggest breakthroughs. It's all about getting back up and learning from what happened.
Makes you wonder if maybe we shouldn't be so afraid to fail. Maybe it's just part of how things work, like a step on the way to something even better. And hearing Zuber talk about all those economic ups and downs, it really makes you realize how important it is to have a plan for your investments and stick with it, even when things get crazy.
He's all about discipline and patience. Those are so important for anything you want to be successful at long term, especially investing. It's about tuning out all the distractions, ignoring all the hype, and focusing on your goals and what your own research tells you.
Yeah, it's about having the confidence to do your own thing and not get caught up in whatever's trendy or the latest fad. Which, is kind of like what he was saying about building a brand too. Find your thing, offer something valuable, and build something that's real and can last.
You got it. It's about thinking long term. Whether you're building a business, investing, or, going after any big goal, have a vision, stay focused, and keep working at it.
So, where does all this leave you? We've talked about a lot today. Building your brand, investing smart, turning what you've learned into something valuable. It might seem like a lot, but the main takeaway I'm getting is it's never too late to start building the life you want.
That's what's so great about all of this, isn't it? It doesn't matter how old you are or where you come from, you can always make a change, create something meaningful, make your mark on the world. It all starts with having a vision, a plan, and the courage to take that first step. Who knows? Maybe someday you'll be sending out your own golden tickets to celebrate other people's successes.
That would be awesome. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. I hope you found this as helpful as I did. And remember, it's never too late to start building the life you want.
And don't forget, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Keep learning, keep growing, and never give up on what you're passionate about. Until next time.